Okay, so the next step, now that I have all of the links done, I reorganized and I moved ahead in the instruction book onto step number 6. Now, step number 6 actually has to do with the steering assembly. So I had a quick look at what I was going to need. It looks like some rod ends, and check this out. This is actually pretty darn cool. Steering link. How many times do we see something like that made out of aluminum, hey? Not too bad at all. Here, let me show you up close. I like that. Very realistic. Quite pleased. So I'm going to need some 10 millimeter rods. These are threaded rods that I was working with earlier. Take out 2 of these. 1, 2. I'm going to take out 2 more because I'll definitely need for this link. Pardon me. Here we go. Steering link's gone out of there. G2 steering link. 2 of these. And 2 more of the rod ends. Now, let's do this too. Do I have the right rod ends? I want to make sure I do. They say they're the offset ones. Here we go. These are easily labeled. The 4 times, there's 4 of these M3 offset rod ends. These are actually for the steering link itself in the middle. Here we go, right there and there. This one can go together. I might as well just put it together quickly. Beauty. Get these in here. Yeah, both of them are 70, so almost all the links are done. These are for the suspension over here, front and back. Get these in the offset rod ends. I don't really need to hold them too much, I found out here, because they're quite short and they don't actually turn too tightly into the rod ends. There we go. Make sure that you actually have enough out on the end so it does connect with the actual link, you know, solidly. You don't want to have just a few threads sticking out. There we go. Like so. All right, so it's transmission time. You can see right here, they actually want me to put on a brace. But before I get into that, because in the last part I went ahead and put some marine grease into the axles to help protect the bearings, I've already gone ahead. Here's the transmission itself. If you guys haven't seen it up close, here you go. Right, spur gear, cast transmission, and it came with the bolts in the backside here. I've already removed them. They were the silver ones, and I'm going to carefully remove this plate. For those who have never seen inside a transmission before, you'll see it's just a series of gears. Let it focus up there. A series of gears and bearings, okay? What I want to do is I don't have to pack it full of marine grease, which is a water-resistant type of grease. Just going to kind of blob some in there. Not too much, because you don't want it to cause too much resistance. Right? You pack too much grease in there, you're going to have a bit of an issue. You see the bearings in here? Focus up. Thank you. You want to make sure these are protected as well. So you could put a blob on this side if you liked, or you could just let this kind of work its way around as it's getting warm. That's exactly what I'm going to do, right? Because just through all the centrifugal force that's in there moving all those gears, it'll move that grease around for me and protect all the bearings. You know, give me a little bit longer longevity. There we go. Replace these screws in there. I'm not using any Loctite. I don't see any purpose in using Loctite in these screws. It didn't come with Loctite in there to begin with. There we go. Make sure I've got the right screws in the right spot. I noticed. Here we go. And done. Hand bomb it in just so you don't twist the tops too tight. And completed. Nice. Not overly tight, but put together. I'm going to use a small piece of paper towel just to wipe off any excess marine grease. This is not in the book, guys. You do not have to do this. This is just something that I'm going to do. I'm just going to check the actual tightness of the slipper clutch there. I'm going to tighten it up. No, it was perfect, I think. That was only 3/4 of a turn, so I'm going to back it off about the same amount. The slipper clutch, for those that don't know, is if one of the tires binds and the motor and the pinion is turning this plastic gear. Okay, if it's turning this gear, the slipper clutch will give this a little bit of slip so that if it's under torque, it won't snap some of the teeth off from the pinion. The experienced RCers know what I'm talking about. The noobs, well, you'll certainly find out. I always do it all the way up, and then I do it about 3/4 of a turn undone. People do it differently, but that's how I do it. So before I put the braces on, I did the same thing with this little transfer case. Check this out. This is the transfer case with the screws undone. Isn't that beautifully machined? Just unreal how RC four-wheel drive is actually getting in there and giving us real true scale products. Well, I'm not just saying that, right? Like, you can see the quality is pretty there. They've already greased the inside of this. I'm going to add a blurb more only because I can and because I know about the mud and the water and all the stuff that's going to be going in around the truck. So a little bit of a blob. That's what I say. Okay, I could spread this around. If I am going to touch it, make sure to put on your the smallest finger condom ever in the world, and just get in there around the bearings, right? You don't have to do too much because, again, just like the transmission, it will totally work itself in there. Okay, so for a frame rail or a ladder build that I do, I'll usually go ahead and lay out all the screws in place, lay out the rails, and lay out all the pieces in the foam boxes, for example. Okay, so I've been emptying it from both boxes according to the manual. So basically I've gone from step 10, I've jumped ahead a little bit, there's number 14, all the way up to step 16. So 10 to 16, basically took out the screws, took out the parts, laid them all out. And if you are new, if you are building a kit like this, you have to make sure, I stated this a little earlier, that you're using the right screws, right? Because a lot of lengths and things will kind of be confusing. So 2 of these, 1, 2 on this side, 1, 2 on the other side. Get that taken care of in a moment. And let's get the first part actually together here. Perfect. Get these ones done. Here's another case. I was going to use a 10 mil M3 when I needed to be using a M2 10 mil. Good eye. Got to catch myself doing that. Come on. There we are. There we go. Now we're going to do the front mount, which is an M3 10 millimeter, which is the one I was using earlier. And that goes on the first mount hole before the incline of the bracket. And spins free of the frame. It's awfully close to the frame. Did I do that right? I did, but it has clearance. There's nothing there touching. So, shall I do the other side? Okay, that is done. This is done. Very nice. Okay, so 1/2 is now completed. Definitely looking pretty nice. I'll go ahead and fasten the other side. Get that on there. Just kind of do the old trick. So I've gone ahead, not only have I put both sides of the rails together, put on the mounting kits for the dampeners, but I've also gone ahead and started assembling the servo mount. There was 3 small pieces in section 19 and 20, and they came in the pack. This was actually the last I needed out of that styrofoam piece. Moving right along. Check it out. Transfer case coupling. Right off, this is a Driveshaft coupler. Okay, this goes in between the transfer case here and the transmission up front. Coupler towards the front. Looks like the longer one goes in the first one. Gotta line it up. Now, where are you? There we go. Perfect. 6 mil right here. Perfect. See, this doesn't take too long. Part of what takes a long time when you're doing this is, number one, you want to do it the right way. And of course, you want to make sure that you're not going through and putting the wrong screws in. You want to take your time, but at the same time, it's a fairly quick build. Look at that. Coming together. I'm pretty happy with this so far. And I might point out to everybody, look at this. It's aluminum and metal all the way through. The only plastic thing I see on here for now is the spur gear. Hey, check that out. Great quality. I love it. And how much does it weigh? It's quite light. I'm sure you can check the specs. I don't know offhand exactly what it is, but it's quite light. So now that that's done, what do we have here? Kaboom! Looks like we're moving straight onto the bumpers, so I'll just get these out for us to see. There we are. So this is, I believe, the front bumper. It has countersunk screws on here. These are going to be the M314. So here are the 12s, the 10s. Let me see here. Looking for some long ones? Yep, the 14s. Very nice. I'm loving the durability of this actually already. Difference I can see in the trucks between the Trailfinder series and this series already is the amount of aluminum I'm seeing right out of the box. Beautiful. Not over tight. Doesn't need to be for the bumper. Switch it around. Look at no brace in the back. This is very unusual. The brace is towards the front more. We'll line these up here. Yeah, perfect. Kind of get these started. And nice. Very nice. All right. Give these a quick torque. A little bit of a tighten. There we go. Beautiful. They don't feel like they'll be coming out anytime soon. Same with the front. 1, 2. Very nice. These are the ones that can go off to the sides. My extra 14s. Now it looks like we're setting up the links. This is going to be on the back axle first. So we'll move this beautiful chassis out of the way and off to the side. Goodbye for now. Let's actually look at the axles and the links. Here we go. We actually get to take out the dampeners. Have a look at those. 4 black dual rake shocks. There we are. Nice, very nice. And they're adjustable, my friends. And they're aluminum, they're not plastic. Very nice. Okay, we'll just get the screw through there. We'll get the link set up. Dampener in place. And we'll push it through to the back axle link mount. There we go. Which screw am I going to need? Looks like I'm going to need 1 lock nut. Finally, this is the first lock nut I'm using. And a 25 mil cap head. These have to be them right here. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so now that the whole back axle is assembled, we can go ahead and attach it to the frame. So make sure that you're facing front, number 1, and make sure that your axle and the axle housing actually has the linking brace facing up so you don't mount it upside down. There's a few different options you could do here. I'm just going to flip this upside down so you can have a see. Right, this is the bottom transfer case plate. Okay, it's already in there, secured. I'm just going to go ahead and flip this whole section upside down. Right, so this is all matching now. Now, these longer links, the 73s, are actually the ones that are going to go into the transfer case plate on the bottom here. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use 2 10mm M3s again. Here, let me get the right, yep, that one will do. Get me the right hex driver. There is 2 little humps on the frame. I'll show you what I mean once I get this first one mounted in there. Okay, there is a bump right here, my friends. Yeah, if you guys built along, you would see. I'm actually mounting the bolts right into the frame. Right? So we'll do these smaller ones first. I need another 10 mil. It's only cool when I can actually pull it off. There we go. Same on this side, pre-thread it. And get this into its spot. I didn't want to pre-thread it too much. Did I? Yep, just a tad. There we go. Perfect. Mount up the dampeners. The dampeners are actually going to be one of the first things that uses a lock nut. That's on either side of the dampener mounts. Very nice. So now the suspension and back axle are completely assembled. Check that out. Isn't that nice? Very nifty. Looking very sharp. Yeah, all of this is looking quite nice. Nice round shot. Moving on. Let's do the front one. Let's get her done. Let's see what it looks like. Now, there are only 3 links to this suspension. The top has this truss that goes across, okay? You take the 59mm link and you put it on, is it the outside? It certainly looks like the outside of the link here, making sure that everything is in line. Use your 12mm screw and slowly thread it in. Since I've already marine greased the locked diffs, I'm pretty confident everything should be good to go with this whole housing unit, right? So I don't mind doing the suspension. I don't have to go back and do it now. I'm glad that I did it in the very beginning. So now I'll flip it back over again. It's completely upside down. I'm going to use 2 14mm. These are the M3s with the rounded head. And I'm just doing it on the outside. You can see there, if you guys can see. On the outside, according to the book. I love it when a plan comes together. There we are. And torque it. Axle is now complete with that suspension. I know, some of us haven't seen this before, including me. Let's see here, dampener time. Okay, let's move on to these little fellas. Perfect. Now comes the steering link. This is when we need the 1mm spacers. Okay, steering link goes under the single top link for the suspension. We're actually going to be moving from the bottom and screwing it into the steering knuckle itself. Now, following the pictures, everything is the right way up, and this would be going like so. So, check this out. This, if we can get a good focus on it, there we go. This whole steering has been set up now. Isn't that beautiful? That just looks fantastic. And being all aluminum except for some of the rod ends, pretty exceptional. There we go. Okay, so what do we have? That's step number 33. Looks like we're going to be able to go ahead and mount this to the chassis as well. That's going to be a repetition of the same thing. Put in a couple of spacers with the dampeners. So let's get this near the front. Almost knocked over the drill, but I saved it. Okay, flip it upside down. There we are. Nice and tight. Nice. A little bit of movement here. What's going on? What do I have to do? Ah, yes, the final link. The missing link. I need a 12mm. And the 70mm link, that's exactly what this is, towards the front of the vehicle where we are experiencing some wobbliness. But we will take care of that right now. That's what this little bracket on the front is for, that you put on. You see this fella right here? Nice. There we go. That took that out, no problem. Steering working great. All right, I've been kind of cheating, and I moved ahead a little bit with these drive shafts because I can see that this says that it comes with 2 short nylon Punisher drive shafts. That's cool, man. I can understand to keep costs down or whatever. They didn't go with the steel ones. These are still nice on the outside, but they are nylon, right? So if you put any kind of torque on here, they might twist a little. So they do offer upgrades. It says right on the box too. I actually had some standing by. Excellent. Okay, all mounted up. Now I can go ahead and reattach the transfer case lined up like that. There we are. Perfect. Drive shafts are in place. I don't want to do up this transfer case too hard. You definitely don't want to strip out these screws. There we go. Hand tight. Beauty. Now I've got these Punisher shafts in here. Looks like they fit just fine. Do I have any movement? Okay, I see they're pretty tight. Like, I don't have a lot of up and down spline movement. So obviously they offer one that is smaller, but this will totally do for me. This doesn't bother me at all. Plenty of good play. Looks like it just fits in there. Sweet. Okay, moving on. Let's get this garbage out of the way. Let's put these two drive shafts off to the side. What does the booklet call for now? Turn this around. See, there's a nice slot where this is going to fit in. Is that correct? No, I thought it was. No, it's because I got it turned around. It's this slot. Perfect. Transfer case. These two Velcro straps go near the front. Countersunk screws. This is going to go near the front right here. Okay, the servo I'm going to use is a high-tech HS5646WP, which stands for waterproof. You'll see at the time of this filming, or when I purchased it, it was $70. I use these in a lot of our trucks. I use these in Jem's Pinky truck. You know, I just prefer to use these. They're strong. Well, for me, I know all servos break, but hey, what can I say? Got to cut off the, I think these are, what the heck are these called? They're not trivets, they are, I don't remember. Little risers on the servo here. You got to trim these off if you want it to fit. Right, just get these out of the way. Now make sure when you're actually mounting a servo like this that you actually do up the screws fairly tight. Again, you don't want to strip it out and you don't want to separate the mounting area, but at the same time, when you're turning your tires and if you're going to be in any kind of mud, you want to make sure that when the servo is torquing, all that power, or as much as possible, goes down to the actual turning of the vehicle. Now I'll just get that out of the way. And what am I looking at for a steering link, my friends? Right here. Aha, the 70. I remember looking at this. So, steering link is going to go which side here? If this was facing the front. There we are. Jack stands in place. And this is going to be going like so. There we are. So now that I have the steering completed, I haven't zeroed out the servo yet. I just put the horn on there. I brought in the front steering arm. Check this out. All right, pretty cool. Doesn't that look neat? Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and mount up the tires. The servo is the only piece of electronics that I have on there, and really to mount up the tires, all I'm going to have to do, is use the right tool. Come on, clamp it down. There we go. The lock nuts actually, or the mounting lock nuts come on the axles when you pull them out of the box. There we go. Two of those. Let's see here, I'm having a look. Looks like these actually come, you don't need these back locks here. Let me just have a look at this. Let me just confirm this. Yeah, those stars don't look like they are needed actually. Let me just put this on. I want to confirm this because this is a little bit odd. Spin that on there. I don't think these tires are directional. I don't see anything directional about them. Beautiful. Yeah, direct drive. You don't even need these cups behind it. Check that out. Pretty cool. They come already built in. There we are. Nice bead locks. I like how they're pre-assembled. They do have some assembly instructions on the inside of the instruction book. But since they come pre-made, that's just in case you have to rebuild them again. Come on. There we are. And together. Look at all the extra hardware I have left over, hey? I guess I could use those black lock nuts if I wanted. They came in here. Yeah, these are the wheel nuts. I guess, you know, I could always replace them out, you know? In the booklet, does it say anything about that? Nope. It talks about building the back hub. And yeah, it does say you can use any lock nut. Cool. Well, my friends, there we are. Let me clean this up and we'll have a final look. Look at that. I even swapped over the little lugs, the silver ones, for the straight black so we could get the full effect of this roller. Isn't that a beauty? And I'll just turn it around so you guys can have a look. Everything on here is mostly a type of metal, except for the plastic receiver box, except for like the very few things like the spur gear and the rod ends and the tires. Everything else is aluminum. Everything. Neat. I'm impressed. As a roller, I think this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, and the nylon drive shafts. It did come with nylon drive shafts. I switched mine out for the RC four-wheel drive Punisher shafts instead. Even a little bit too long with the ones that I did, but still works great. I have no problem. I'm looking forward to checking out this steering. I'm very interested with this. Here, check this out. Here's something some of the noobs may not know. Here, let me find a straight pencil. Or even an Allen key. This is even better. Check this out, because you want to have it slide right off the end. Check this out. You got a long wire like this. You're still trying to figure out what to do with it. Give it a quick wrap. Wrap it like this. Right? End over end. Side by side. You can see how it's getting done. Like so. Give it a quick pull like that. Simply slide it off. There. Nice coiled servo wire. People that have been in the hobby have known how to do that for a while, but it keeps it out of the way and lets you get whatever extension or whatever you need right in there. My friends, I give to you the roller of the new truck from RC four-wheel drive. I think it's definitely going to be a hit. I love how it has a 3-link and 4-link suspension. I love how it has adjustable shocks on it. This is going to be something that's going to be fun to drive. And now, I guess I can move on to the electronics. And of course, my favorite part, painting the body.